Well, good morning, Laura. How are you today?
Good morning, Andrea. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I feel like I'm having a treat of a morning having some time with you. Everyone, you are in for an amazing chat here. Now, Laura is someone I've known now for about 14 years. We've just worked that out. But the way I describe you, Laura, to anyone that I meet and talk about, you are the whiz of Apple iPads. Like I have you like on the pedestal about technology. And everyone, just like everyone might make a connection. So whenever I've got my iPad in front of you, I think, oh my gosh, he's probably thinking, no, scroll that way, click that way. But you are so supportive of me and my growing ability with technology. And not only are you the master of it, but you're also the best coach known to implement iPads. Oops, I just ticked that, sorry. iPads. And yeah, I feel really, really grateful and honored to have you in the chat today.
Wow, what a big introduction, Andrea. No pressure.
Yeah, you'll blitz it. You'll blitz it.
Oh,
You'll blitz
thank
it.
you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I absolutely love what I do, and I love the opportunities that using the technology has opened up for us, for the students that we work with. So yeah, it's something I love and I'm really passionate about. So I'm glad that that comes through.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because you work at a school, but also you work with other schools, don't you? So you just want to kind of explain that a little bit?
That's right. So I work 2 days a week at a school in the western suburbs of Melbourne, and that's a school for students with intellectual disabilities. So really awesome place to work,
Yeah.
awesome students, and we can get stuck into some really fun, creative learning there. So that's 2 days a week. And on the other days, I have my own consultancy business. And there's kind of two, I guess, sort of two arms to that. So one is working closely with the Apple education team. So I'm one of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Apple professional learning specialists in Victoria. So I work with them on different projects. And then I also do some independent work with different schools
Oh,
around Victoria.
fabulous. Yes. I know that you leave Victoria sometimes too, Laura, don't you, to spread your
Yes.
wisdom?
Yes, I do. So last year I had a really exciting opportunity working on a project in the Northern Territory
Yeah, wow.
in Alice Springs. So I worked at an Aboriginal school in Alice Springs and just supporting the integration of a one-to-one iPad program
Yeah.
there. So it was such an amazing experience. I learned so much, and the
Oh,
students were just so awesome and fun and creative, and yeah, I just
yeah.
had an absolute ball
And to get
there.
to the center, right? Like
Yeah.
that is an amazing experience because, we all, not everyone gets there in their lifetime.
Mhm.
So you've had
Yeah.
that experience. And I just think lucky school to have you there. That was so
I
amazing.
felt
So
lucky
before
to be
we
there.
get into our tips, make sure everyone stop now and make sure you get onto Laura's website, Facebook page, Instagram at Creative iPad Classroom, and you will get on and follow us straight away because you're going to get most amazing tips and I love how you put your work examples up there. Like you get to see, it's fabulous. So let's not stop. Let's talk about your teaching tips because I know they're going to be totally amazing. So let's start with teaching tip one.
Okay, well, tip number one is one, if anyone has had any conversations with me in the last 10 years, this is one that I kind of keep coming back to. It really kind of drives my work. And it's about focusing on creation rather than consumption of technology. So when our learners come to us, they're quite often, we refer to them as digital natives. They're used to using technology at home, but more often than not, that's in a capacity as a consumer. So
Yeah.
they're watching YouTube videos or TikToks or, playing games and things like that. So they're very familiar and very comfortable in that space. And I think there's a real concern and a really valid concern from parents and teachers about screen time and the effects that that can have on young people in a negative way, with
Mm.
that kind of dopamine cycle. So what I'd really like to try and work with the schools that I work with is that notion that not all screen time is equal. And so thinking
Oh, I
about,
like that.
how can we use the devices as a platform for students to showcase and share their learning, um, in a creative way, rather than being stuck in
Love
this
it.
cycle of dopamine,
Mm,
spikes and crashes. So in order to support that, the way I usually work is by looking at flexible, open-ended applications that can be used across any curriculum area. So it's not so much there's an app for this, there's an app for that.
yeah.
It's about here's a really great platform and how can we use that in English, in maths, in science, and all different areas. So
And that really makes that connection about working memory or cognitive load. So they're not using a new application for everything. They're just going deeper with the one application or app and really understanding it and its potential. I
yeah,
like it.
absolutely right. And then and kind of really um, fostering that notion of creativity again with teachers to think
Yeah.
about, how do I use this in a
Yeah.
different context and what are some possible opportunities?
That,
Um,
oh,
yeah,
sorry. That reminds us of the project you and I have been working on just recently, where we have been working on three pillars about effective learning. And you played an amazing, enormous role on not just suggesting, but really prompting us to see how to use the devices in an authentic way, in a creative way, in a hands-on way. So, it wasn't a standalone, it was a through line through all of it, which was really powerful. Yeah,
exactly. And that sort of prompts me to say as well, just thinking about, if we're talking about iPads, it being an integral part of what the students, like how they're showcasing their learning. So I think in a lot of school environments, we see students will, do the learning and then they'll get the
yes,
iPad as a reward, or they'll,
yeah.
that's a
Early finishes,
exactly. That's a separate kind of standalone thing. So it's really
Mm,
about, shifting that mindset into integrating it as a tool
mm,
across all different learning
yeah,
areas. So there are a few, I'll refer to a few of those creative apps today, the ones that I like.
yeah,
And of
great.
course, other apps are available, but these are my
Yeah.
sort of personal favorites. I just wondered if I could share an example of one of my favorites, which is Pic Collage.
Yeah, we would love
Um,
to see that. Everyone loves to see things. That would be awesome.
Awesome. So I'll share just a few examples. I'll get that set up ready to go.
Isn't it amazing though when you yourself even start understanding the application and you can just really quickly go, oh, we can use it for this. Like I think that empowering teachers, which is what you do as a coach, is the best starting point. Oh, this looks fun.
Absolutely. So this was just an example, and I've supported many different lessons along similar lines, but it was thinking about using Pic Collage to create a writing prompt.
Yeah.
So students were given different kind of inspiration, I guess, as to what they might want to create a story about. So give some suggestions, and of course, then they took those suggestions and came up with much better ones themselves.
Cool.
But yeah, just thinking about using the different features in Pic Collage to create that visual story, and then from there using that as a prompt for students to build out and flesh out their ideas in
Yeah. I love
writing.
the options too. Like, so, for me, I'm going straight. I've got an idea already about you going up with balloons, floating up with balloons. But, particularly about people's prior knowledge, they might go straight to the aeroplane. So I love that too. And it's not too crowded. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of one example. And again, sticking with Pic Collage, just to illustrate, here's a
Mm,
completely different example. So this was students learning and consolidating their learning of place value in maths.
mm.
So obviously going alongside the hands-on materials, again, a really
Yes.
important point, the iPad is not a replacement for that. It really goes hand in hand. Unfortunately, today I haven't been able to show too many examples of that just because a lot of that's in video format.
Yeah, no, that's
So
fine.
those
Yeah,
are
no.
those are on my Instagram page if you want to have a look at
Oh,
some really
yeah,
good
great.
fun activities there. But yeah, so here the students, we used a random number generator to generate a 4-digit number, and then the students had to rearrange the digits to make the largest possible number the smallest possible number. and just had that opportunity to get creative with it and to design it how they wanted. And they all looked different. And, the
Oh,
students were
wow.
really, proud of their work and yeah, really happy
It's
to.
nearly an artwork. It looks
Yeah.
great.
So that was one little maths example. And then this one is an example in science. So students were learning about different forces, forces of motion. And we had, a mystery bag, and the students could pull out different toys and, different artifacts and look at how they moved and how they, could be manipulated to move.
Yeah, great.
And from there used the GIF feature in Pic Collage, so you can add images from the web, but you can also add GIFs as well. So then they added their own little GIFs to demonstrate that particular concept. So
It's so interactive. Like, so, we talk about all the time that our learners having authentic audiences, but I'm in the audience today and I'm like, oh wow, that is so cool.
yeah, it was really fun as well. Yeah, and the students, being able to add images of themselves or videos of themselves, that's
Yeah.
really
That,
engaging,
yeah, I like the mix there too. I like
yeah.
how they've used a lot. Yeah, that's awesome. So pick collage, hey?
That was Pit Collage. So others that I really a fan of. So there's the built-in Apple apps that come
Yep.
with the iPad already. So Clips is one that we use a lot. So that's creating video content. And as I mentioned, there's quite a few examples. I'm doing a bit of a clip series on my Instagram at the moment. So if you wanted
Oh,
to
great. Yeah,
check
no,
those out,
everyone needs to get there. You know
um,
what I loved, Laura, you said, if you've worked with me, you would have heard this message about, the different types of apps. I think that's the power, like something that's been like a belief that you have in your teaching and that it's carried through that time and it still sticks. Do you know what I mean? It's a really, yeah, for us as listeners, we know that you've tested this theory out, this thinking about these types of apps, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you for sharing. Wow,
fabulous. Thank you.
I'm inspired by tip number one. Did
So
you? Yep. Go.
yeah, I'll show another example and move on to my next tip
Yeah.
if that's all right. So
Yeah.
this was created in Keynote, which is another fantastic app, and it's
Yeah.
so flexible, so many cool things you can do with Keynote.
Yeah.
But the tip that I would like to share here is just thinking about opportunities to use the technology to scaffold and support student learning. So I think sometimes we can fall into the trap of, have this really great lesson, this really great idea, and then just basically hand the students the iPads and then
Yeah.
off you go. And they're a little bit lost in that moment. It's like
Mm.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to do, or I can't remember, or so this is something that I like to do a lot is to create like a template or a scaffold that I can send out to the students that will really help to step them through
Yeah.
the learning task. So this was an example here. It was a capacity investigation in maths. This was a year 2 class. And yeah, just uh, obviously there's 4 sections here on the page. There's little voice recordings there. So if the students we had walked through it all together, but if they forgot what to do or they needed a reminder, they
Yeah.
can listen to
Oh, great
the
scaffolding.
recording. And then just giving them the opportunity to show their learning in different ways. So through
Mm.
videos, photos, text, voice recordings, drawings, another possibility. So there's just lots of ways to really scaffold and target the learning to students' different learning styles as well, and
Yeah.
how they like to show their learning. So that was just one little example,
Well,
but Keynote and Book Creator are really great for creating those kind of scaffolds to support
and
students.
I'm so excited because the word estimates there, which is a
We
passion of
love
mine.
estimation.
Yeah, I will because I can actually make a connection with this Laura because everyone, Laura and I both work at the same school. That's where we made the connection. And last week I was working with an awesome team of team leaders, and we were talking about science. And of course we follow the framework of predict, observe, explain. And guess what? They bought out this fabulous resource you'd made for them to use on the iPad, where the kids can record their thinking and take photos. So just to give you your feedback, I've seen this work, 100% seen this work, but also when you're not there, they're still using the amazing things that you've created with them. So there's some really cool feedback.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. I actually was going to show that example today, and at the last
Oh,
minute, I changed my mind about what I was
oh,
going to
well, there
share.
you
So,
go. So you've got lots of examples, but I think sometimes as a coach, it's nice to know it's happening when you're not just when you're not there. So yes,
oh,
what you're providing has definitely become a part of people's classroom practice. So
oh,
well
that's
done.
great. Yeah, lovely to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that. And just on this note as well, just wanted to just talk very briefly about this example. So this was an example where students were learning about the zones of regulation and different emotions that they might experience. So this was kind of left open to students to tackle in a variety of different ways. And one of the suggestions was that they could draw an emoji. So choose any emoji that they want to draw. We have some styluses that the students can use. So they drew their emojis. And also in Keynote, they animated them as well. So that's another great feature of
Oh,
Keynote. So
yeah.
added little animations to their emojis, and then they could either write or record their voice talking about how their body feels in that situation, and then some different strategies that they can employ to bring themselves back to the green zone, ready to learn. So this was just I loved that lesson. It was really fun, and
Yeah.
the
Just
students really enjoyed the creative aspect of
Yeah,
that.
and just so hands-on, like you get that feeling straight away, like they've every step of the way the learners have created, and I love the mic too, mind you. I think they would love to have that handheld mic too. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. They're very cheap actually. You can get them on Amazon and they plug into the iPad, and yeah, you've got
Yeah,
yourself a wireless
cool.
mic. So yeah,
Very
they're
cool
a great tool
indeed.
to have too. So my final tip is really just thinking about the importance of modeling tasks. And again, it's something that we do in other contexts, but when it comes to technology, I find that it's something that kind of falls away sometimes.
Yeah.
So actually modeling and going step by step, that I do, we do kind of process,
Yes, yeah.
and having the students help you, create that example, because although we know our students can navigate the technology fairly well, I don't think that's a substitute for being able to see what's possible.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, like the theory's there and the research is there about worked examples, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah.
It's there
Yeah.
about gradual release, so and you might be right when when you said that for might be there for technology. Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. It's a valid point.
Mm. I think as
It's
well, anytime that I'm planning a lesson, I always make my own example.
yeah.
And 99.9% of the time, I'll end up changing some things in the lesson. So I'll either change the order that I do things, or because that's how you pick up what might be challenging for the students or where they
Yes, yes,
fall
yes.
down. So without having gone through that process, and I've seen it unfortunately quite a few times where the staff haven't necessarily gone through that process and then have presented this awesome idea to the students, but then have realized that for whatever reason,
Yeah.
there's going to be problems that the students
They
come
got
across that
stuck.
they didn't
Mm,
anticipate. So
mm.
and then that kind of breaks the flow. So I think just those two things. First of all, doing it yourself, in the comfort of your own workspace, and just kind of thinking about, putting yourself in the student's shoes, and then also working through the worked example and with the students in the classroom as well. Really,
Because you're really anticipating, aren't you? So as you're working through that example, you're anticipating, you're getting your teacher talk ready, your level of scaffolding ready. Yeah, I think it's vital. I agree.
timing, I think, as well, Andrea, timing and kind of trying to
Yeah,
anticipate how long something might
yeah,
take.
true. Mm.
And I always, even still kind of can get that wrong. You think, oh, this is quick and easy. And then you think, and then,
Yeah,
oh, it takes much longer than you thought it would.
yes, it happens to us all, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just kind of on that note again with the worked examples, Just thinking this kind of links to a project that I've been working on in the last couple of weeks with a group of students. So it's a really cool project, actually. They're creating, it's a bit of an enterprise project,
Yeah,
and they're
great.
creating some products, some physical products for an event. So this group that I was working with were creating their own candles. They're gorgeous. They're going to be so
Wow.
nice. So not only are they making the physical products, but they're using the Clips app to record their procedure, which
Yeah.
they're going to share with the people who receive the product. So they're going to be able to watch the videos and see how they were made. And they're also designing all the packaging to go with those
Oh,
products as well. So this was just an example. We used the Canva app, which is
yes.
really, really nice. And just this is something that I think is often a good idea, is showing an effective example and maybe a not so
Yep.
effective example,
Mm,
and
mm.
asking students to identify, oh, which one do you think is better, but more importantly, why. So really kind of unpacking the design of the product or the
I want
content.
to buy one, Laura.
We'll
Oh,
put
I
one
want to go.
aside for you, Andrea.
I want it as a gift. That looks amazing.
So yeah, so just thinking about those principles of design, and not just to make it look pretty and nice, but to actually make sure that the message that the students are trying to get across is effective.
Mm,
So that might be whether it's a poster or a label or a, flyer or a leaflet, whatever it
yeah.
might be. Just, the principles of design are really important in order to be able to communicate an idea effectively. So yeah, so
I
that's
know at this school that at one of the campuses, they often send home an invitation to invite families in, and this is the type of thing with that authenticity of a reason of a real audience. I mean, this project that you're speaking about here is just absolutely tremendous, isn't it?
it's been so fun. It's been so fun.
Oh wow, it looks so good. Well, now I don't know. I'm now like my head's full with good ideas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Right.
mean, I have the pleasure of working with you very regularly, and I really value when I work with you, Laura, how you think deeply about things. You're a very reflective educator, and you always bring your A game to the table. And you've done that again in this chat. You're a most amazing educator who I've watched as the older person here, folks. I've watching your growth as an educator just blossom. You're an incredible educator, and I feel very blessed that you've given me the time to come and have a chat. And fingers crossed we keep collaborating for many years to come because I have to learn a lot more from you. There's more for me to learn from you.
And
So
absolutely likewise, I've learned so much from you over the years, Andrea. I was just thinking 11 years ago when we first met, I was remembering when you were coaching me in my
yes.
classroom, and we did an awesome little project together. And yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed that, and I enjoy continuing to work with you as well. And thank you so much for the opportunity today.
Oh, that's my pleasure. Now I will make sure, folks, that you get all of Laura's details so you can start following her. As you can see, she's absolutely produces magic with iPads, and you won't want to miss out. I can tell you, it's just the best. Well, Laura, number one, I'm pleased that our dogs didn't bark right through the
I'm
chat. We
pleased
had that. We're both
to.
dog lovers, and we worry about the chats. But number two, thank you so much. And I know. Everyone is going to absolutely love the chat. And thank you for your time and have a great day.
Thank you, Andrea. You too.
See ya. Bye.